Do the objects in my ToK exhibition need to be personal to me? I get this question a lot. Do the objects have to be personal? No, but. That but is a big but, so stay watching to find out more. Welcome to ToK Today. Please hit like and subscribe to support your friendly neighbourhood ToK channel. Many students ask me, do my objects have to be personal? Nowhere in the IB marking scheme for the ToK exhibition does it say that the objects have to be personal to the student. The marking scheme does say that the objects have to have specific real-world contexts. And this gives us a clue as to why people think that the objects have to be personal. Let's dig deeper. The ToK subject report is a report written by the IB ToK examiners. It's a treasure trove of information. You should check it out. The subject report in May 2022 says teachers should encourage their students to find objects from the real world rather than look for some generic image found online or elsewhere. This is basic to a successful exhibition, so of utmost importance. Objects were sometimes detached from the candidate's own experience as a knower, or were too general to be successful, for example, the Bible or an iPhone. This did not allow for the specificity required to explore the prompt and made clear the problems with generic images of objects. Candidates generally did well when they chose personal objects, for example, a household object or an heirloom, or objects which were meaningful to them, for example, a book they had read or studied, or a statue or monument of a person that they had studied in history, or a place they had visited, or something from the news that they were interested in. Okay, so we're starting to get more clarity here. It then goes on to say, images of objects that lacked in specificity led to unfocused commentaries. Specific here relates to the particularity, nice word, uniqueness or single nature of the object. Although a personal context can make an object more specific, it is not the only way of doing so. Let's reiterate that. Although a personal context can make an object more specific, it is not the only way of doing so. Also, specificity has to have a reason. There is no difference between a Bible and the Bible from which my grandmother used to read to me when I was a child, unless the candidate uses the specificity of the object in its context to make some ToK-related point. So it's not the personal aspect of the object which is important, it's the specificity of the object which is important. And the specificity has to relate to a ToK knowledge point. And if you want to know more about that, then watch the next video in this series, which I will put a link to in the card here or here. I can never quite remember where. Let's just look in a bit more detail at what is meant by a specific object. So here we have a water pump. Well, that's a generic object, but the specific water pump in London that was tested and discovered to be spreading cholera during a 19th century cholera pandemic is a specific object. A Bible is a generic object, but my family's Bible, that after reading at the age of 16 led me to examine empiricism, is a specific object. A ship is a generic object, but the ship in which Darwin toured the Galapagos whilst developing the theory of survival of the fittest is a specific object. And a football is a generic object, but the football that was used in the match at Eton College in 1815, which led to the codification of norms of play, is a specific object. You've got it. So let's have a look at an example arising from an actual prompt. And the prompt is, are some types of knowledge more useful than others? And I'm going to look at the claim that the usefulness of knowledge depends on the context in which the knowledge is being used. Now, if you don't know what is meant by claim, watch the next video in this series, because that will give you the key to the top marks in the ToK exhibition. So we're looking at the knowledge claim that the usefulness of knowledge depends on the context, and our object is a cactus. And we've used a cactus because we're arguing that the knowledge of the cactus can provide water, which is more useful in a desert than a city. In this case, the desert and the city are the context. Well, on the other hand, we could use the saguaro cactus that the children who were lost in the Australian desert in 1968 used to get water from. Now, I think that you can see that the saguaro cactus example is a lot more specific than the first generic cactus example. In this case, your personal cactus sitting on your window ledge at home would not be a better object than the saguaro cactus, because your personal cactus is not as specific to the prompt as the saguaro cactus. Okay, I hope that has helped you to answer the question, do my objects need to be personal? Now, if you need more help with your ToK exhibition, you can get coaching from me, written feedback from me, and we have lots of resources over on toktoday.com, including the very popular Every ToK Exhibition Prompt Explained ebook. Link in the video description. Please remember to hit like, and if you like a lot, then hit subscribe. The next video in this series will be on justifying the inclusion of the object in the exhibition, and I hope to see you over there. Stay ToKtastic, my friends. But that but is a big but, so stay watching to find out more. Oh dear.